Maybe you're not as attractive as you think. Maybe you're not as attractive as you think. And this is not a dig at you. This is not an attempt for me to make fun of anybody. I'm even speaking to myself. And I'm definitely speaking to myself because I've been through this process before. I've sat down with myself. I have reflected a couple of years back, 2, 3 years back. And I had to be honest with myself. Like, dude, what's your level for real? And not only did I have to ask myself, what's my level, but also, what level am I happy with? And then I accepted the reality that I am a very average guy. I have average looks, average height, average income. I like peace. I like calm. I like boring stuff, quote unquote. I'm not into designer stuff. I don't care if the woman is the most attractive woman in the world. As long as she's attracted to me and I'm attracted to her, that's pretty much it. To me, that's it. It doesn't mean she's ugly, but I know that I'm not a supermodel. I should not be expecting a supermodel, period. The girls I get, I find them very attractive, and that's all that matters. Do I find them attractive? Period. And if I find you attractive, if I find you attractive and you as a woman find me attractive as well, end of story. Then we date, then we do whatever we got to do. And I think a lot of people, men and women, need to have this honest conversation with themselves, right? Maybe you're not as attractive as you think. Maybe you need to be honest with yourself. Maybe you need to sit down with yourself and say, who really are you and what really are you? And I think this is becoming very difficult nowadays in this era because social media has given people such an inflated sense of self, such a false sense of bravado, such a false sense of superiority and beauty and attractiveness that a lot of people don't know anymore who they really are. You are looking at yourself, all the comments you're getting on your post, all the artificial likes you're getting on dating apps, you think you're better than you really are. So when you go into the real world and you're not getting what you think you deserve, you now go into a vicious cycle of, I'm ugly. Maybe you're not ugly. Maybe that's your level. Because I've been seeing videos of women talking about why you should never settle. Madam, what the fuck do you mean settle? What if that's your level? I mean, I've heard women say this more. I haven't seen or heard men talk about settling. But my point is, settling? I don't get that part. Settling? That's just your level. But then, especially with women, I think it's very difficult with women because a lot of women, they typically judge their attractiveness based on the amount of makeup they put on their body, if that makes any sense. Most women, when they evaluate how attractive they are, it's never how they wake up from the bed. What do you look like when you just get out of bed? No. They typically judge themselves based on when they're all kitted up, makeup done, dress on, everything done. And then they rate themselves based on that. And then typically when they go into the world and they are not that, they start thinking, oh, I'm settling, I'm doing this. And I've corrected a lot of women on this. Maybe you're not who you think you are. And that's not a bad thing. Maybe you're average as fuck. Maybe you're below average. Find your level and be happy. And this is where a lot of people fuck up. You are shooting above your pay grade. And because you're shooting above your pay grade, you are chasing something that is not yours to begin with. You are chasing something that is running away from you to begin with. You're chasing a perception of somebody. You're chasing an icon that does not exist for you. I mean, that exists, but just not for you. For example, I have seen situations of women talking about the kind of men they want. Oh, I want a man who's 6'5". I want a man who makes $100,000 a year. I want a man who's muscular, with beards, who works this kind of job in this industry. And then the next question that the interviewer typically asks is, have you ever met this man before? More often than not, the answer to that is no. So you've never met this man before. These men have never tried to date you before. These men are not even checking for you before. Yet you want to date this kind of men? Make it make sense. And this is the thing that a lot of people have seen in this dating era. And this happens in men's spaces as well, right? You watch this podcast, this Red Pill podcast telling you you need X amount of money to get this type of woman, to get a body, to get a 9, to get a 10. Completely ignoring that just because you have money doesn't mean you're going to have access to this kind of women. I mean, you may, but the question is that what you really want? A lot of people are chasing fantasies, man. Maybe you're not as attractive as you think, and that's not a dig. A lot of people, men and women, need to sit down with themselves, Be brutally honest with themselves and know your level and be happy with it. Be content with it. If you find a woman attractive and she finds you attractive and it's mutual, fuck what people think. For me, I don't care. I don't care. Most of the women I've dated, typically, I would qualify them as nerds, but they're beautiful, they're smart, they're attractive, they're normal, they respect me, I respect them, they like me, I like them, they're sexually attracted to me, I'm sexually attracted to them, they're in decent shape, good shape, sometimes incredibly good shape, because that's who I am. You understand? But a lot of people are chasing ghosts, man. And this is one of the biggest issues that I see in this generation. Like, people are overestimating themselves, chasing after things that they don't even have. I mean, how can you as a man or as a woman be having these high expectations for somebody that you've never even dated before? These men have never even tried to date you. So what parameter are you going off? For example, you also have women talking about, I want to date a rich man. I want to date a rich man. He has to make this amount of money. Meanwhile, your dating history is nothing but broke guys, unemployed guys, who you've been paying for. So how the fuck are you going to transition from broke to rich? Are you in the spaces of rich men? How, before now, historically, how often have rich men tried to date you? Not fuck you, but date you and actually try to become serious with you. These are the questions that matters. Or as a guy, you're talking about bodies. Before now, how many times have you tried to date a baddie? How many times have bodies made themselves accessible to you, right? Like, some of you, man, like, you're letting social media, you're letting TikTok, you're letting podcasts, you're letting online personalities dictate your personal dating life for you. And that can never end well. This can never end well, man. What are we doing? Does it make sense? If you're watching this video till this point, just put in the comment section, makes sense. Type it out if it actually makes sense. Because it is bugging me the hell out, man. When was the last time you dated a millionaire? Oh, I've never dated a millionaire. Actually, my previous boyfriends, they made X amount of money. But the next guy has to make 6 figures. So, what the hell? I want to date a 9, a 10 as a man. Okay, how often have you met 9s and 10s? Oh, I've never met them before. I'm always sitting in my house. Well, no shit, Einstein. How are you going to meet her? And you wonder why you're sad, why your dating life is miserable. A lot of people's dating life are miserable because you are chasing ghosts. You're dating ghosts. And sometimes you're focused so much on something so far away, you are missing the opportunity that sits next to you. And that cannot be healthy. That just cannot be healthy, man. Maybe you're not as attractive as you think. Be honest with yourself. Have a sit down with yourself and be honest and accept it. There's no crime there. It's not a shame. There's somebody for everybody, but you have to be realistic. And one more thing. Guys, at the end of the day, let me tell you something. At the end of the day, looks are going to fade. I'm telling you the truth. And yes, in the beginning, when you don't have something, you're going to be seeking it out, right? You want that attractive woman that is so sexually appealing, so sexually attractive. You want that guy that just looks like a supermodel all the time. But one thing about human beings is that we get used to something very quick. We get used to something very, very, very quick. Trust me. If you're a guy, if you see a woman who's a baddie, right? Like, she has all the things, all the bells and whistles every guy wants. She might have a banging body. I'm telling you, there's a guy, somebody somewhere, who is kind of fed up with her. And not fed up with her in a way where he's angry, but he's had nothing sparks it anymore for him. Because he's had sex with her multiple times. He's used to her. Because he's used to her. When you're used to somebody, that thrill is gone. As a woman, you might see a guy who from a distance, he might look very attractive to you. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, right? But let's say you start dating him, you guys have had sex, you've gotten all the butterflies, quote unquote, out of your stomach. Now he's just a regular guy to you. I'm telling you. Now, this is where other things comes into play. Looks get you through the door, personality, character keeps you in there. Right? So that's why I always say to people, do not ignore the character of a person. If you're only focused on the looks and the money, that's great, but you're gonna get used to these things very quickly. Now, what next? For every attractive woman that you think is a goddess, there's a guy somewhere, if she's straight, there's a guy somewhere that is like, meh, I've been there. I kid you not. I remember back in university, there was this girl who was so attractive, but like, she was so attractive. After I started talking to her, we did our thing. I mean, I still found her attractive. I still respected her, but that initial thrill, it was gone. And it didn't mean I hated her. It just means it didn't spark me anymore. Right? Now, what kept us talking was her personality, which then became shit later. And I was so turned off. Same thing applies to guys. I mean, I've seen girls be so infatuated with a guy because of his looks. But after she maybe has dated him, gone on a few dates with him, had sex with him, whatever, she's like, meh, because the spark is gone. And that is why I say to people, you shouldn't forget what's the word? You shouldn't forget the character, the personality, because that's also very important. It's critical, very critical. So I guess the essence of this video is to just remind you, first off, maybe you're not as attractive as you think. And number two, be honest with yourself and don't ignore the character of a person, because that's also very important. Thank you.